Maria never had big dreams for herself, no ambitions of fame, no hunger for luxury, no desire to be remembered by the world. Her dreams had names, and those names were her children. She used to say softly, "If they are happy, then I have lived enough." Maria was only 22 when her husband died. A sudden accident, one phone call, one moment that shattered everything. She still remembered how the world went silent when she heard the news, not because there was no sound, but because her heart refused to hear anything else. She had 3 children then. Daniel was 6, Emily was 4, and little Noah was barely 8 months old. People came, they cried, they spoke kind words. But when the house emptied and the nights grew longer, Maria realized something terrifying. She was alone with 3 lives depending entirely on her. That night, she sat on the cold floor beside Noah's crib, her back against the wall, holding Daniel and Emily close. "I promise," she whispered into their hair, "I will never let you feel alone, even if I have to disappear for it." From that day on, Maria stopped being just a woman. She became strength. Maria worked wherever she could, morning shifts cleaning offices, afternoons sewing clothes for neighbors, nights folding laundry in a small local shop. She slept in broken pieces, 20 minutes here, an hour there, always alert, always ready. Her hands became rough, her back learned pain, her smile learned how to hide exhaustion, but her children never knew hunger. Daniel always had books. Emily always had ribbons for her hair. Noah always fell asleep to lullabies, even when Maria's voice trembled with fatigue. Sometimes, late at night, Maria would sit by the window, staring at the dark street below, not dreaming, just breathing. She had no space left inside her for dreams of her own. Daniel noticed first. He noticed how his mother never bought new clothes for herself, how she skipped meals, saying, "I already ate," how she smiled even when her eyes looked tired. Once, when he was 10, he asked, "Mom, don't you ever get tired?" Maria laughed softly, "Only when you stop smiling." Emily noticed later. She noticed how her mother never complained, never cried loudly, never asked for help. When Emily was 13, she once heard Maria crying quietly in the bathroom at night, not sobbing, not breaking, just silent tears falling into the sink. Emily stood outside the door, frozen, realizing something painful. Her mother was human, but she had been pretending to be unbreakable. Noah noticed last because by the time he was old enough to understand, Maria was already very tired. Time did what time always does. Daniel went to college. Emily followed soon after. Noah dreamed of becoming something big, something important. Maria attended every milestone, graduations, school events, first achievements. She clapped the loudest. She smiled the widest. She cried the quietest. People admired her. What a strong woman. What a perfect mother. But nobody asked a simple question. "Maria, who takes care of you?" The day Daniel moved out, Maria cleaned his room 3 times. The day Emily left, Maria folded her clothes again and again, breathing in their scent. The day Noah went to university, Maria stood at the door long after the car disappeared. The house became silent. Too silent. No toys. No footsteps. No voices calling, "Mom." At first, Maria kept busy. She cooked meals out of habit, then realized she was eating alone. She washed clothes even though the basket was almost empty. She set 3 extra plates, then slowly stopped. Loneliness doesn't arrive loudly. It slips in quietly, like a guest that never leaves. Her children called. At first, often, "Mom, I'm busy, Mom. I'll call you later." "Mom, next weekend, okay." Maria always answered the same way. "It's fine, my child. I understand." She never said, "I miss you." She never said, "The nights are too long." She never said, "I feel invisible." Because mothers like Maria don't want to be a burden. They only want to be remembered. Maria started forgetting small things: where she put her keys, what day it was, whether she had eaten. Her body felt heavy. Her chest sometimes hurt. Her legs trembled when she stood too long. The doctor said, "You need rest." Maria smiled politely. How does a mother rest, she thought, when her whole life has been work? She went home alone. She always went home alone. Every evening, Maria sat by the window, the same one from years ago. She watched people walk past, families laughing, children holding hands. Sometimes she imagined hearing footsteps behind her. "Mom, I'm home." But the house stayed quiet. She kept her phone beside her pillow at night, just in case. Sometimes it rang. Mostly, it did. Then single quotes T. Yet every night before sleeping, Maria whispered, "My dreams are safe." My children are alive. That is enough. She didn't know. Loneliness doesn't break you in one day. It slowly drains the life you gave everyone else. Daniel became successful first. A good job, a busy life, a growing world. He was proud, and he should have been. He had once studied under a dim light. Because his mother couldn't afford better bulbs. He remembered that. But remembering is not the same as returning. Daniel called his mother. Every Sunday at least. That was the plan. Sometimes work came in the way. Sometimes friends. Sometimes exhaustion. And sometimes, life simply felt too full. Next week, he would think, she understands. Emily followed her dreams with fire. She moved to another city, then another country. Her social media was full of smiles, achievements, and freedom. She loved her mother deeply, but love, when mixed with distance, becomes quiet. Emily sent messages instead of calls, photos instead of presents, hearts instead of hugs. Maria saved every photo. She printed some and placed them in frames around the house, as if filling the empty spaces with memories. Noah was the dreamer. He wanted more than survival. He wanted meaning. He studied late nights, worked part-time, and spoke of changing the world. Maria listened to every word like it was poetry. You will do great things, she told him once. I already know. Noah smiled. He believed her. But as his dreams grew, his time shrank. Maria never complained. Not once. When Daniel forgot her birthday, she said nothing. When Emily missed her call, she said nothing. When Noah replied, days later, she said nothing. Because Maria believed something dangerous. If I ask, I might become a burden. She chose silence instead. And silence slowly became her closest companion. The house remembered everything. The walls still echoed with children's laughter. The kitchen still smelled like old meals she once cooked for 5. The couch still carried the shape of little bodies sleeping on her shoulders. Every room whispered memories. But memories don't answer when you speak. Maria started waking up, tired, even after sleeping. Her hands shook. While holding cups, her breath felt heavy climbing stairs. She brushed it off. Just age, she told herself. But deep down, she felt something else. A weight that wasn't physical. A sadness that had no tears. Loneliness doesn't scream. It just sits quietly. And stays. One evening, Maria sat with her phone in her lap. She had dialed Daniel's number. Her finger hovered over the call button. She wanted to say, I miss you. She wanted to say, the house feels empty. She wanted to say, I need you. But she didn't. She closed the phone and whispered instead, they are busy. Let them live. And just like that, another chance slipped away. Maria turned 56 quietly. No party. No cake. No candles. She cooked her favorite meal out of habit, and ate half of it. Before losing appetite. The phone stayed silent. Later that night, Emily sent a message. Sorry mom, just remembered. Love you. Maria smiled at the screen. She replied, it's okay my child. I'm happy you remembered. She never said how the day felt. She never said she had waited. The neighbors noticed changes. Maria stopped greeting them often. She walked slower. She sat outside less. She must be tired, they said. Old age. Nobody thought to ask deeper. Because loneliness hides well behind politeness. When Daniel finally called one night, worried after weeks of silence, Maria answered cheerfully. I was sleeping, she lied. She didn't tell him she had been awake for hours. How are you, Mom? He asked. I'm perfect, she said. Mothers like Maria don't tell the truth when it might cause guilt. They protect even from afar. Another visit to the clinic. The doctor frowned at her reports. You are underweight. You are exhausted. You are emotionally drained. Maria nodded politely. Do you live alone? The doctor asked. Yes, she replied softly. Do you have family? She smiled. Yes, very successful children. The doctor paused. Do they visit? Maria looked away. Sometimes. That night, Maria opened an old box. Photos, school drawings, tiny shoes, handwritten notes. She touched each item like it was alive. You were my purpose, she whispered. You were my dreams. Tears fell quietly, not from pain, from emptiness. Loneliness is not the absence of people, it's the absence of feeling needed. Maria had given everything now. She felt forgotten before sleeping. Maria placed her phone beside her pillow. Just in case. She always did. She closed her eyes with the same thought. Tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. She didn't know. Tomorrow doesn't wait forever. Maria's days began to look the same. Wake up. Sit quietly. Waiting was no longer something she did. Waiting was something she had become. She used to wake up early before the sun to prepare breakfast, pack lunches, iron uniforms down. She woke up because sleep refused to stay. The house was still. The air felt heavy. Sometimes she sat on the edge of the bed, holding her head, trying to remember what day it was. Monday or Thursday, she whispered. It didn't matter anymore. Every day felt identical when no one was waiting for you. Maria's health was quietly slipping away. Her hands trembled when she poured tea. Her legs ached even after short walks. Her heart raced without reason. She felt dizzy often, but she never told her children. They have their own lives, she told herself. I don't want to worry them. So she worried alone. Daniel noticed something strange. His mother hadn't called in weeks. Usually, even if he forgot, she would call, just to hear his voice. He thought about calling, then postponed. She's strong, he told himself. She call when she needs me. Strength can be a dangerous illusion. Emily was busy living, meetings, friends, travel. She shared pictures of sunsets and smiles online. Maria liked every photo. Emily noticed sometimes. She's happy for me, Emily thought. She must be fine. Emily didn't know her mother stared at those pictures late at night, whispering, I'm proud of you. Even when her heart felt painfully empty, OAH sensed a distance. When he called, his mother sounded softer, tired. You okay, Mom? He asked once. Of course, Maria replied quickly. Why wouldn't I be? Noah wanted to ask more, but exams waited. Deadlines waited. Life waited for no one. So the call ended, and Maria sat alone again. One afternoon, Maria felt dizzy while standing in the kitchen. The room spun. She reached for the table, and missed. She fell. Not hard enough to break bones, but hard enough to shake her confidence. She sat on the floor for a long time, not crying, just breathing. If I can't even stand, she thought, what will happen when I truly need help? She slowly pulled herself up. She didn't tell anyone. Neighbors passed her every day. Hello, Maria, they said politely. She smiled back, but no one noticed her slower steps. No one noticed her thinner face. No one noticed her silence growing deeper. Loneliness doesn't make noise. It fades you quietly. One morning, Maria woke up with pain in her chest, not sharp, heavy. She took a bus alone to the hospital. The doctor looked serious. You are extremely weak, he said. You need care. You shouldn't be alone. Maria nodded. Do you have family? He asked. Yes, she said proudly. My children are very successful. Can one of them stay with you? The doctor asked. Maria smiled gently. They are busy. The doctor didn't push. He had seen this before. That night, Maria typed a message to Daniel. I'm not feeling well. Could you visit? She stared at the screen. Then she erased it. She typed another message to Emily. I miss you. Could you call me? She erased that too. Finally, she typed to Noah. Just wanted to hear your voice. She erased it. She placed the phone down and whispered, they shouldn't feel guilty because of me. Maria still cooked full meals though she barely ate. Still cleaned the house though no one came. Still folded clothes though only hers remained. Because habits don't die easily. Love doesn't either. One night, Maria woke up unable to breathe properly. Her chest felt tight. She sat up, shaking. For the first time, fear entered her heart. What if something happens? And no one knows. She reached for her phone. Her fingers hovered over Noah's name, then Daniel's, then Emily's. She didn't call. She told herself, it will pass. And eventually, it did. But something else passed with it. Her belief that she mattered enough to ask. Days turned into weeks. Calls became rare. Messages became short. Maria stopped checking her phone often. Hope hurts when it keeps getting disappointed. Maria started talking to old photos. Do you remember this? She asked Daniel's picture. You loved this dress, she told Emily's frame. You used to sleep here. She whispered to Noah's childhood photo. The house listened. People didn't. Maria wasn't afraid of dying. She was afraid of dying unnoticed, of leaving this world. Quietly, just like she had been living lately, Maria stopped opening the curtains every morning. Not because she disliked the light, but because the light reminded her how empty the house looked. Her body was weaker now. Standing for too long made her dizzy. Climbing stairs felt like a mountain. Her heart often felt tired, like it had been beating for others for too long. Still, Maria never called her children. She told herself, they will come when they can. But deep inside, another voice whispered, what if they don't? Maria placed a small chair near the front door. At first it was just for rest. Then it became a habit. Every evening she sat there listening for footsteps, for keys, for a knock. Sometimes she imagined hearing Daniel's voice. "Mom, I surprised you." Sometimes Emily's laughter echoed in her mind. Sometimes she imagined Noah running inside, excited to tell her about his dreams. But imagination fades quickly when silence answers back. One afternoon, Maria collapsed while walking to the market. A stranger helped her sit down. "Are you okay?" he asked. She nodded, though she wasn't. An ambulance took her to the hospital. This time, the doctor didn't smile. "You are seriously ill," he said calmly. "Your body is exhausted, you need care. Constant care." Maria listened quietly. "Do you live alone?" the doctor asked again. "Yes, please call your children," he said gently. "You shouldn't be alone like this." Maria looked at her hands. "I will," she said. But she didn't. The hospital room was cold, machines beeped softly. Nurses came and went. Families visited other patients, laughter, whispers, tears. Maria watched them silently. No one came for her. She held her phone tightly. Every vibration made her heart jump, but the phone stayed still. That night, fear became heavier than pride. Maria called Daniel. He didn't answer. She called Emily. No answer. She called Noah, ringing, ringing. Finally, voicemail. She didn't leave a message. She didn't want her voice to sound weak. When Daniel finally called back the next day, Maria answered cheerfully. "I'm fine," she said quickly. "I just wanted to hear your voice." Daniel smiled through the phone. "You scared me, Mom. Call anytime." "I will," she said. She didn't tell him she was in the hospital. She didn't want to interrupt his life. After a few days, Maria was sent home with medicines. "You should not be alone," the nurse warned. Maria smiled. "I've always been," she replied softly. She returned to her quiet house. The walls welcomed her. The silence wrapped around her again. Cooking became difficult. Cleaning became impossible. Maria started sleeping more. Sometimes she forgot meals completely. Sometimes she forgot whether it was day or night. But one thing she never forgot: to sit near the door every evening, waiting. Emily remembered her mother's birthday. Late that night, she sent a message. "Happy birthday, Mom. Sorry I was busy." Maria read it slowly. She smiled. She typed back, "Thank you, my child. I'm proud of you." She didn't mention she had waited all day. The neighbors noticed Maria hadn't come outside in days. Her lights stayed on at odd hours. Her door stayed closed. One neighbor knocked once. Maria opened slowly. "I'm fine," she said before they could ask. They believed her, because she smiled. One cold evening, Maria sat on her chair near the door. Her breathing was heavy. Her chest hurt. She looked around the house slowly, carefully. This was a good life, she whispered. She imagined her children as babies again. The nights she stayed awake. The sacrifices she never counted. She wasn't angry, just tired. Her phone lay beside her. She waited. Minutes passed. Hours passed. No call came. Maria rested her head against the wall. Her eyes closed, still waiting. The knock came late, not loud, not urgent, just enough to break the silence. Mrs. Allen lived across the street. She had noticed the lights in Maria's house staying on all night. Again, no movement, no greetings, no gentle wave from the door. Something felt wrong. She walked over and knocked. No answer. She knocked, again, harder. Still nothing. Fear replaced hesitation. She called for help. When the door finally opened, the house felt colder than it should have. Too quiet. Maria was sitting on the small chair near the door. Her head rested gently against the wall. Her hands were folded in her lap, as if she had simply fallen asleep. While waiting, Daniel was in a meeting when his phone vibrated. Unknown number. He ignored it. It rang again. He stepped outside and answered. "Is this Daniel?" a calm voice asked. "Yes. This is the local police. We're calling about your mother." The world stopped. Emily was laughing with friends when her phone buzzed. Missed call, voicemail. She listened. Her smile vanished. Her heart dropped. She stood up slowly, whispering no. No. Please no. Noah was studying when his chest suddenly tightened. His phone rang. Daniel's name, Noah, answered. Daniel didn't speak for a moment. Then, in a broken voice, "Something happened to Mom. 3 children, 3 different places, 1 destination. Home flights were booked. Bags were packed. Words were lost. Guilt filled every silence." When they arrived, the house felt smaller, quieter, Heavier. Everything was exactly where Maria had left it. The chair near the door. The folded blanket. The phone on the table. Daniel stood frozen. She was waiting here. He whispered. Emily touched the wall. She was alone, she cried. Noah sank to the floor. She didn't even call, he said, and that truth hurt the most. On the table, they found a notebook, not a letter, just lists. Medicine times. Grocery reminders. Birthdays, their birthdays. Daniel's favorite meal, written carefully. Emily's allergies noted. Noah's exam dates circled. Even in her final days, she was thinking of them. Daniel held his head in his hands. She called me, he said softly, and I told myself she was fine. Emily cried openly. I sent messages instead of visiting. Noah stared at the chair. I felt something was wrong. But I chose later. Later never came. Mrs. Allen stood quietly. She waited every evening, she said. Sat near the door. Always hopeful. The words hit like knives, waiting, always waiting. The service was simple, no crowds, no grand speeches, just 3 children standing beside a quiet truth. Maria had lived for them, and died waiting for them. After everything, they returned to the house. Emily opened the fridge. Meals. Prepared, labeled, dated. Daniel opened the closet. Her clothes were old, neatly folded. Noah found the phone beside the bed. Unanswered. Calls. Draft messages never sent. Maria hadn't died because she was unloved. She died because she didn't want to disturb the lives she had built. Her dreams had come true. Her children were successful. She just didn't know where she fit anymore. They sat together on the floor. We should have been here, Daniel said. We should have listened, Emily whispered. We should have asked, Noah cried. Silence answered. Maria never demanded, never complained, never said, I need you. She only waited.